Reverend Charlotte McGinnis, and as always, want to thank you for taking the time to tune in and join me for my Sunday Soulful Conversation. And I'm definitely got a lot going on here. I've got two screens going, so if my eyes are kind of all over the place, well, it's because I'm looking at two screens. What can I say? So happy to see y'all today. We're going to have a fun talk about discovering your life's purpose. What in the heck does that even mean? And all that good stuff. But before we go there, I just want to thank you all for waiting for me to come on because actually I had an hour ago at 11:11, I had literally no idea what I was going to talk about, or better yet, I kind of did. I just hadn't gotten it ready yet. Been really busy with all kinds of stuff. You can still see behind me lots and lots of piles of things because we are still in our remodel phase. So who knows how long that's going to take, but whatever it is, it is. And we're grateful to be able to do this. So I see a few people popping up here on the one screen, Molly and Dawn, and I missed the first person. So sorry about that, but welcome and give me your feedback, offer question. You can ask questions, offer feedback, disagree, agree, whatever you want to do. Let's just make it a good time. And if you feel like sharing this at the end of the day, please do so and pass it along to your friends, and would love to have you. So today I'm going to talk about discovering your life's purpose. What the heck are we here for? Hey, Mal, we come in, and I think that's a question we all ponder at one time or another, or many, many times. We'd like, what in the heck are we even here for? What's this all about? And it's a crazy world, and, trying to find meaning and purpose and all of that. It sometimes gets a little daunting and difficult, and we question, what is this all about? So Dawn, good morning, and good to see you today. But anyway, there's many, like everything, there's many aspects I touch on, because what I really try to do is make it integrative, bring in many perspectives, because we're all not on the same path. And I like to make it as big as possible, offering options to consider, thoughts, and that sort of thing. So just a reminder, all are welcome to join us on Fridays for the Course in Miracles group. It's a great group, Zoom, awesome group of ladies. But man, no, we have one guy, Steve, who's awesome. But it's a terrific group. All are welcome. Let me know if you want to join. And then the prayer ministry is always available for prayer support. So feel free to tune in or go to my website, charlottemcginnis.com, go to the prayer ministry there, and we'll get working. So where does this life purpose thing fit in? Well, the way I actually got prompted to talk about this was yesterday, our monthly Angel Squad meeting, which is the Alliance of Divine Love. It's a gathering that we do open to everybody, not just ministers, but everyone is welcome to join us. And anyway, we're really blessed because our founder, Reverend Dr. Barbara Selwa, I should say our co-founder of the ministry, she blesses us with her wisdom and her presence. This ministry is 53 years old. So she's not a young woman in age, but certainly a wise woman. And she's a fabulous woman. And we always are so grateful to have her join us. Well, what we do in this, Reverend Dr. Bonnie Barnes Kelly and I choose a topic, sort of a focal point, an intention for the conversation that we have in our gathering. And we have a little dialogue with those who are participating. And then we have a meditation, and then Barb Selwa offers her input, feedback, and what have you. So it's a beautiful experience. And of course, yesterday, what was our topic? What is your divine purpose? What are you here to do? And it's an age-old question, to say the least, but it's something definitely worth considering. And I'm going to come at this from many different ideas, ideals, philosophies, thought systems, just to give you a little more to think about, not to make it more confusing, but to just give a broader perspective. So Bonnie actually offered a beautiful meditation yesterday on helping us to discover our life purpose. It was we traveled, together and had an opportunity to go deeper into that question. Well, today we're going to go deeper into that question, and I'd like to start with this quote: "Live the life of your dreams. Be brave enough to live the life of your dreams according to your vision and purpose, instead of the expectations and opinions of others." And that right there, I think I just come out of the gate running, right? Well, I think that how often, whose dreams are we living anyway? Whose life are we living? Are we basing our purpose and our goals and our dreams and our desires on other people's thoughts of what that should be? Or are we truly courageous enough to go into our heart and tap into our divine holy purpose and to nurture that and develop that without the need of approval or someone to say, "Oh, that's great," or better yet, try to talk us out of it? And it takes a lot of courage to do that, for sure. But it's a journey definitely worth taking, to have the courage, be brave enough to live the life of your dreams, not someone else's. And I'd have to say that most people on the planet are in some way, shape, or form living someone else's dreams. And it's time to step up and be courageous and say, "No, I've got a holy purpose, and I'm going to live my holy purpose," because I truly believe and know that God has given us all tools, desires, dreams, and we are here to bring those forth, to manifest those. So we have to be willing to tune out the chatter of other people's good intentions and their ideas of what your life should be, and to follow your own heart and live your own divine purpose. So this is a little bit of a dichotomy, this quote, but I found it interesting because it fits right in with what we're saying, but also offers, like I said, one of those little off the trail thoughts. And it's actually from Ralph Waldo Emerson. And he says, "The purpose of life is not to be happy. Well, it's to be useful, to be honorable, and to be compassionate, and to make some difference in the life that you've lived, and lived well." Well, I agree with half of that. I do believe that we are here our lives are meant to be honorable, and we're here to be compassionate and to make differences where we have lived, and to live well. But the first part of this quote is, the purpose of life is not to be happy. I beg to differ with that. From what I have discovered through my own journey, is that when I'm in tune and alignment with my higher self, with source, with spirit, with God, with the angels, what have you, I'm happiest. And when I'm in that frame of mind, in that state of being, I'm way more productive. When I'm happy, that just sends that vibe out into everything I do. When I'm struggling and sad and angry and making my life purpose about, being a martyr, or woe is me, that energy is not lifting the vibe. So the spirit of joy, the spirit of happiness is an attribute of living in the will and the mind of God, for sure. So Ralph, I'm with you halfway there, but not all the way. And maybe you all will agree more with Ralph. I don't know. So Buddha, what does Buddha have to say about this purpose? And here he says, this is what I was referring to just a few moments ago. He says, "Your purpose in life is to find your purpose and give your whole heart and soul to it." Well, I think that when we find our purpose, really ask that question, why am I here? What is my purpose? What's my function? be still and ask. And I do find that when we discover our purpose, it's very clear. And we know, like, yes, this is what I'm here to do, and this is who I'm meant to be on this journey called life. And I look at it more as a purification process, a peeling away of the layers of other people's thoughts and beliefs of how things should be or shouldn't be, peeling away of programs and pattern and subconscious and unconscious guilt and past lifetimes and all of these things. And I think that the more we peel those layers of the onion away, our true selves are able to emerge. But again, if we're carrying all those burdens of the past and other people's expectations and society's expectations and all that BS, belief systems or whatever, then we do have a closer handle on what we're here to do. And we all do have a purpose. I believe that. And there's like the purpose of, like, maybe what is your passion and what's your career purpose and that sort of thing. But I look at it as a much bigger question and answer. Good morning, Vicki. Happy Sunday to you. So, code of ethics. We're going to get into that because that's another interesting thing to ponder and to consider. But as you know, I'm a longtime student and teacher of A Course in Miracles, and BS equals bull shoulds. I like that, bull shoulds. Oh, I'm keeping that one, Vicki. Good one. But anyway, the Course in Miracles is really, I would say, my personal primary path. Not my only path, but I certainly use it and study it and teach it and try to do my best to live by its teachings. And the Course in Miracles says that our only function, our purpose, is one thing and one thing only, and that is to see the world forgiven, to really heal our mind. So really, all the other stuff doesn't really matter in the big picture. But in the framework of where we are, it does matter, because we're here in this dream, and we're here to create and to be happy and to help each other up and to be kind and love each other and to shine our light and all those good things. But really, our main purpose is to see the world forgiven. And what exactly does that even mean? Well, to see the world forgiven is making a decision to relinquish the bull shoulds and other people's opinions and our programs and belief systems that we've been carrying around for lifetimes, most likely, if you choose to believe that way, and to really tap into aligning or co-creating with love or God, and to be willing to listen to that still small voice, which will always lead us to ascension, which will always lead us to peace and unity and forgiveness. And so the Course in Miracles takes a very, I would say, spiritually mature stand on forgiveness. And get this, says there's nothing to forgive. Well, what the heck does that mean? It says you got to forgive. That's your only function. And then you say nothing to forgive. Well, what up with that, But really, it says there's nothing to forgive unless we've made a judgment. So really, if we move to this, we're operating in two mindsets. The mind of, hey, Sue, what up? Let's do some pickleball. Anyway, our true nature has never changed. It's changeless, formless, and eternal. It's only love. It's unity, it's peace, it's goodness, kindness, compassion, all of those things. And then there's this other place we reside more often than there, and that is in this world of this three-dimensional world of duality, and where we have emotions and we have expectations and judgments and perceptions and all of that. Well, ultimately, if we just truly lived in a forgiving state of mind, a loving state of mind, allowing the Holy Spirit to guide us, lead us, and direct us in everything we think, say, and do, we would ascend much quicker and leave this non-duality, awaken from this non-duality, and remember the true nature of who we are. We would awaken to our Christed self, our loving self, our true self, which really has nothing to do with our accomplishments or our bodies or how much money we have or how many friends we have or don't have. All of these things we identify with. It's much greater than that because we are truly a part of the whole. So spirit, go back to 1 Corinthians about love, it is love is kind and gentle and doesn't judge. And that's really what we're here to do, is to live more from that state of mind, a state of being. When we do that, we've sort of, as I mentioned earlier, purified the more we choose to be in that state, a forgiving state. We're not judging. So if I'm not judging, I don't need to forgive, right? And then what happens is I think, peel those layers away of patterns of thought and programs and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, our true purpose in form and what we're here to do and who we're here to be just naturally comes from that. So we're coming from a pure state of being. Well, I know that we hear code of ethics, and I think that the Course in Miracles, again, for example, biblically, what do we have to live by? The 10 Commandments. And those commandments I respect and honor and certainly appreciate their value and their meaning and their purpose and their intention. So I'm not here to say throw the 10 Commandments out. That's not what this is about. But the Course in Miracles, its code of ethics says, well, it's really not about adhering to a code of ethics at all, but rather changing our mind, healing our hearts. And then I feel if we allow ourselves to do this, then naturally we become more in alignment with the commandments of God's laws and God's love. And not from a religious perspective, but from a universal perspective of healing and love and kindness and oneness and unity. Because again, I'm really getting the fact, the truth, that this earth that we're experiencing, this life we're experiencing is a big classroom, and we're all here to walk each other home. And so as we heal, how do we heal? What do we even know what we're supposed to heal? Good morning, James. How you doing? Happy Sunday. What do we even know what to heal? Well, if we have a charge or we get upset, the Course in Miracles says I'm never upset for the reason I think. If I'm upset, it's because something hasn't gone the way I wanted it to go. Bottom line. So let it be, right? Speaking words of wisdom, let it all be. So it's the code of ethics. The Course does not prescribe behavior. It rather is changing of the mind, changing of the heart. And to me, that is a very high code and place to live from. And a lot in the beginning, and not so much anymore, but people used to say, well, if you're not given these 10 commandments or what have you, then people are just going to go crazy. Well, I would say that if the Course in Miracles says, I'm under no laws but God's, or under no laws but love, if that feels more comfortable to you. I think that if I truly listen to the still small voice of the Holy Spirit within me, with the Holy Spirit's goal is to bring us all home to God, then I believe that those commandments that will be given from that perspective, that guidance, will be a very elevated state of being and awareness and bring us home maybe faster than we could imagine. So we have to get out of our way. We have to purify our hearts and minds. And we have to unlearn everything that we've been told is so valuable. You're going to love this quote from Mark Twain. He says, "I was educated once. It took me years to get over it." I can't agree with that more. It took me years to get over it. We are so programmed to learn a certain way, that, and again, I'm not here to criticize the 10 Commandments or the school systems at all, because I know it's, I'm not saying I could do better, but I always grew up and I was never really a good student. I was never the least bit interested in anything really, very much anyway, that I was learning in school. Thankfully, I had golf that was just totally like in every cell of my being, and I loved it, and I chased that, and that was my purpose, and thankfully I was able to pursue that. But what happens is we're programmed with a lot of useless stuff, and then other people's programs of how we should be and what we should do and how we should think and all of that. And then before you know it, it's like we sort of lose sight of what is my purpose and who am I and what am I here for? Well, this system, the school system, says I need to think this way and be this way, and the church tells me I need to believe this and think that, and then my parents tell me this, and my friends tell me this, and society tells me this, and to be worthy, I've got to do all this stuff. And eventually it's like we lose complete sight of our holy purpose and place on this planet, and we're living by other people's ideas and ideals. And I think that not to judge, because it's not even about judgment, it's just how we cling to those programs so tightly, and then we've got to hammer them into other people. You got to do this to be worthy of whatever. Never going to find your purpose. At least I don't think so if we're living from that frame of thought. So Thich Nhat Hanh, what does he say? Nothing is more precious than being in the present moment, fully alive and fully aware. Thich Nhat Hanh. So what if we could be fully alive and present in each moment? What does that even mean? That means that I'm willing to just be still, be in union with my higher self, with my heart. I'm forgiving the past. I'm not carrying the past into my present moment. I'm not projecting into the future. I'm just being still and connected and tuned in to all that is. So if we were fully alive and fully aware in each moment and not running by our programs, then that too is an awesome step in our ascension process. Well, back to code of ethics. Speaking of letting go of code of ethics, let's talk about code of ethics for a second. Well, there's a restaurant here in Flat Rock. We are really blessed with good food around here. I love to cook. Right now, the house is turned upside down, so not so much fun to cook. So we've been eating out a little more than usual because we rarely go out, actually. But that being said, one of our favorite restaurants, just right down the street, it's called Campfire Grill. And anyway, this fella who's here in Flat Rock, he's like Midas. Everything he touches just works, and amazingly well. And he's created all these cool little stores and restaurants and things right in our little town. And Campfire Grill just has great food, cool ambiance, and it's close, and we love it. And it's based, this area of Western North Carolina is a huge community of camps, summer camps for kids. And so the theme is, he has a lot of pictures from, probably 60, 70 years ago, these camps around, and then modern pictures, and it's got a camping theme. So he calls it the Campfire Grill. And it's a really cool place, great food. And I always appreciate, I like to look at the pictures he has placed all over and, just read and see what he's doing. So this past week, our good friend Laura met us there for lunch and treated us. So thank you, Laura. That was so sweet. Anyway, there was a poster that I noticed on my way out, and it was the code of ethics from a camp, which I don't even think exists anymore. I don't think. And it was called Falling Creek. It's a summer camp up here somewhere. And anyway, this was their code, and they had four different categories, and they had kind of a camp crest, and they had the four codes were based under being a warrior spirit, moral campus, servant's heart, and a positive attitude. And I was like reading this, and I took a picture of it because I'm like, well, this is good. I wish that these sorts of things and ideas and ideals were more available to our children these days, because it was not religious, even though there is mention of God, and I'm certainly a God person, so that doesn't offend me a bit. But some people, I get it. I'm not oblivious to how people think, and it's all good. But I do appreciate these values and these ways of being. And so what's a warrior spirit? And this poster, look, it could be 80 years old. I don't know. So always do your best. Where do we hear that? The Four Agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz. 80 years ago, we got the Falling Creek Code saying always do your best. Okay, not a new thought, right? Live with courage. We were talking earlier, probably the most courageous thing we can do is to live from our own heart rather than other people's programs of how they think we should live, or society, and so on and so forth. So live with courage. And I think that when we live in love and faith and confidence, and one quote that just popped in my head from A Course in Miracles is, if you knew who walked beside you on the path that you have chosen, fear would be impossible. So if we're to be courageous is to be free of fear. So if we knew who walked beside us on the path that we have chosen, fear would be impossible. Who is that? For me, it's the Holy Spirit, Jesus, Buddha, Yogananda, ascended beings. You know who that being or what that might mean to you. But if we really plug into that, you go into the 12-step programs that they say, because a lot of people who come into 12 steps don't necessarily have a interest, we'll just say that, interest in spirituality or anything to do with God, right? So came to believe that a power greater than ourselves can restore us to sanity. Okay, what's that power? Is it your dog? Is it the moon? Is it the trees, the sun? You know what I mean? I know I'm speaking to an audience that knows what I mean here, but live with courage. The next part of being a warrior spirit, strengthen your body, mind, and spirit. And I think that is so important to keep our body strong. How do we do that? Good food, exercise, fresh air, the obvious. Our mind, do things that your critical thinking, learn to think for yourself. And of course, your spirituality, whatever that means to you, to develop that. And I know that what is spirituality? It's a way of being and thinking that enables us to be more trusting and less fearful and more hopeful and more kind, and allows us to live from these principles. And of course, perseverance is the last of these qualities of a warrior spirit. So not giving up, above all else, move towards the light, whatever that means to you. But perseverance, too often we give it a try and then it's like, forget it, I'm done. No, never give up. I know that I've been through many courses of all sorts, religious, spiritual, life coaching, all these things, and they've all served a purpose, and a good purpose. And I've taken all of that and it's brought me here, and I continue to evolve, and my message shifts and changes as I evolve. And I think that's a positive thing. And so it's coaching in the life coaching. It talks a lot about in the teachings that I had is that, we give up too easy. All of a sudden we, it's, what do they say? There's a story 3 feet before we reach gold. It's like we're going there and we're going there and we're going there, and we give up too soon. Well, coaching also, and let's talk about law of attraction, The Secret, and what was Think and Grow Rich, the power of the mind, right? Our thoughts are things, they create. So we really have to pay attention to where our thoughts are going. Well, I feel like part of my ascension or my evolution personally is that I was for many years focused on definitive outcome, goal. And now my only goal, the aim I seek is to really know my oneness with Creator, to be kind, to be loving, and to just trust the process that I'll be guided and led to exactly what serves my greatest good and the greatest good for the whole. I don't have aspirations necessarily of really anything except just living, walking the walk of where Spirit will take me. And that's actually, I would say, is the biggest, I guess, the biggest goal we could have, right? And yes, that may mean you go into business to be a doctor or a cashier or a politician, whatever it is, but we're truly doing it from a place of purification where we're healed, we're certain, and we're not afraid. It's a whole different way of navigating and moving forward. Well, the moral compass, do the right thing. Okay, yep. Do I need to explain that? Do the right thing. We know what's the right thing, and we know when we're not in the right frame of mind or frame of heart. Act with integrity, absolutely. What's integrity is to really do that, harm no one, and to do that which serves the greater good. The ego wants to take and Spirit wants to give. Truthfulness goes with integrity. And of course, taking responsibility for your actions. And that's interesting that popped up because I was just watching this morning a Joyce Meyer little video blurb, 3 minutes. And she said, if we want to heal and, we can't, and we want to be, and I'm very loosely paraphrasing, if we want to be here to live our best life and our highest purpose, that we can't blame anything or anyone. She said she used to be, say her past abuse when she was growing up was a reason that she couldn't succeed or gave her an excuse to fail or what have you. But if you're doing that, you're giving your power away. Yes, things happen. Bad things happen. Things can be difficult. But am I going to let that be a reason for me not to be able to be happy, to be free, to be expressing myself in the greatest degree of love? Or am I going to use that as an excuse to why I continue to fail and why I can't do it? So it's a choice. Okay. Third, code of ethic, servant's heart. Follow the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. What a concept, right? Wouldn't the world be nice if we did that? Treat everyone with respect. Yes, goes without saying. Take initiative to help others and make friendship a fine art. So I do notice, it does take work to cultivate friendships, and it does, it's easy to put things in front of that. And I recognize that in my own life. It's not easy, but we need to make friendship a fine art. So be helpful, treat everyone with respect, and follow the golden rule. That's a servant's heart. Not a bad way to be, right? And of course, the fourth code here is a positive attitude. And of course, this first one I love, be fun to be around. Yeah, no one wants to be around a fuddy-duddy, right? So be fun, be joyful, and you'll attract more good to you, because the vibe we put out is the vibe we attract in. We're in a vibrational universe. It's law. So work on that being fun. Live with enthusiasm. Be grateful for God's blessings. Be grateful for all things. Attitude of gratitude. The more we're grateful for, the universe gives us more to be grateful for. And focus on the positive. Seems obvious, right? But are we doing it? I mean, these are simple little things. It's like, okay, yeah, got it. But do we get it? I think if we lived by that camp code from a million years ago or however, be a whole different game, right? So moving forward, we've got all of this. What's our purpose? It's to live in the greatest degree of love, really tuning into your heart, tuning out other people's ideas of what your purpose should be or will be. And we need to be compassionate and empathetic. But I want to spend just a minute talking about that, true empathy and detached compassion. Well, compassion, of course, that means we have compassion and feeling towards other people's situations. We're not oblivious to the suffering in other people's lives. But detached compassion means that I can be compassionate, I can see the suffering, but I don't have to myself engage in that energetically. So I don't have to take that on. And actually, if I do take other people's pain and suffering on, what tends to happen, it brings me down. And that is not doing any good for raising the vibration and grounding the light into our world, right? So be compassionate, but you don't have to take other people's stuff on, right? True empathy, again, an empath is a lot of us, especially that are on our spiritual path and maybe more conscious, we're very aware of other people's pain and suffering, and is same with compassion. We're empathetic. We can feel that. We're empaths. True empathy is the same thing. I recognize your pain and your suffering, but I don't have to make it my own. But I can respond with compassion and empathy. And how do I respond? Well, Holy Spirit, show me how I can be most useful in this situation. There again, great use of purpose, right? So I read this quote related to this. This, my dear, is the greatest challenge of being alive, to witness the injustice of this world and not allow it to consume our light. Yeah, that's the greatest challenge of being alive. And I would say in these times, lots and lots of suffering and pain out there right now. It gets overwhelming. I've had to pull away a lot from certain things and situations just because it can sometimes, if I'm not equipped to be detached, compassion and true empathy, and I can feel myself getting sucked into it, I have to step back and sort of charge my batteries, right? Well, that's what we have to do. And most of the people here tuned in, we're compassionate people, we're caring people, we're ministers, and not necessarily from an ordained perspective, but a minister of God is really someone choosing to walk the path of their lives in the greatest degree of love possible. So when we put ourselves out there, of course, we attract those who are in need of compassion and love and kindness, right? So we have to make sure, though, to step back when we need to charge our batteries. Otherwise, we're feeding the fear and the darkness rather than holding the space of light. So I love this. It does not matter how long we're spending here on Earth. So, it's also this whole lifespan thing. I don't know about you guys, but we have witnessed a lot of people, children, people who seemed healthy, people who are leaving the planet more than we've ever seen, and in really weird ways, and seeing diagnoses of illnesses. I mean, I was with a friend at a doctor's office the other day, and she had a diagnosis, and the doctor he's very seasoned, excellent doctor. He's like, I've never heard of this. It's crazy. So he says to me, give me your phone. No, he said, look this up on your phone, on Google. And so I hand the diagnosis up to, and he's like reading about it. And so, my point is there's lots of stuff that is coming up. So, we're here to, whether our life is short or long in years, how can we, how can we live our greatest purpose and be in love? So it doesn't matter how long we're spending on this earth, how much money we have gathered, or how much attention we have received. It's the amount of positive vibration you have radiated in life that matters. So I really feel that is it. That's really what is your purpose? What is your function? Yours, mine, and everybody's. How can I blast this world with the greatest amount of light, of healing, of love, and we can do it through our professions. It's just every job is a ministry. It doesn't matter if you're an athlete or what have you, a doctor, it doesn't matter. Am I using this as a means of raising the vibration, sending out love and light? Because ultimately in the end, how much have you lifted the vibe of the planet and everyone on that planet? Very cool. That to me is our true purpose. And if we're still, we will be guided and led to do that which brings that light and love into every aspect of our being, every breath we take. So it's very cool. It all comes back to that. Tune in. You'll be guided. You'll be led. So go out into the world today and love the people you meet. Let your presence light new light in the hearts of others. So there you have it. What's your purpose? What's your goal? Yeah, we may be guided to do this and that, and that's all wonderful and awesome and good. Do that. Do it with love. But ultimately, we're here to lift the vibe of ourselves and each other and just shine our light. Okay, well, thank you all so much for tuning in. It's always great if you feel moved to share this. I'd love it. You can just pass it along with your friends. It's available on YouTube, on Facebook, on my homepage and my business page, Reverend Charlotte McGinnis, and on my website, Reverend Charlotte McGinnis, CharlotteMcGinnis.com. Have a great day, everybody. Peace and love. Spread the light. It's all good. Best is yet to come, and I believe that to be the case. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.